do so and hit subscribe. That way you'll have access to all of our future and past speakers and are able to listen to it whenever you have a chance. Just going to give a brief overview of what Downtown Council is if you're new to us. We are one of 8 chamber councils, and simply put, we care about the future of our city. We represent Jacksonville's business community, including major corporations, growing businesses, and startups. Our goal is to connect one another so that greater Jacksonville and downtown will thrive and prosper. Our meetings offer a brave space to discuss local topics, and we look forward to different perspectives on what makes our city great and ways to make it better. And lastly, we pride ourselves on keeping you informed of local business and civic issues by bringing top-tier speakers to our meetings. Today's speakers are Dwayne Beliakoff, who's the owner of the Bread Board and Estrella Cocina, and Chad Meadows, the COO and Executive Vice President of VyStar Credit Union. A few new things in 2021, even though it doesn't feel too new since we're already in April. We extended the length of our morning meetings to include a breakout session for more networking and discussion opportunities. So from 8 to 9 will be our general program, and then from 9 to 9:15, we'll do small group breakouts to discuss what we've heard today and to network with one another. We also are hosting Downtown Council power lunches with board members and chamber small business leaders to get to know one another better. So I want to thank John and Jim for hosting our April power lunch today at Bellwether. There are a few slots still available, so if any of you have some time around the lunch hour at 11:30, they'll be meeting downtown at Bellwether, so feel free to join. In addition, we are incorporating quarterly in-person networking meetings, and I'm thrilled for Laura to share more about the event that she has scheduled next weekend. It's a Downtown Council walking tour. More info will be shared in a minute, but just want to give a shameless plug for that because that's going to be awesome. We are also committed to building a diverse board reflective of our community. And in addition, we as the Downtown Council, we're all volunteers. It's board led. It's not just me or Laura. We have an entire board full of those that are working to make Downtown Council and Greater Jacksonville better. So we would love your feedback. So if there are any speakers you would like to see or events you would like us to consider putting on, let us know. If you are a Downtown Council board member, will you please wave to our attendees this morning? Great, thank you so much for your service. At this time, I will now recognize all new members to the Downtown Council, and we have 9, so bear with me. Chris Mann with Aging True Community Senior Services, Francina Halrez with Coach Tate Foundation, Mark Ashton with DG Technology, Janae White, Luigi's Concrete and More, Gregory Kern and Robert Matthews from Matthews Design Group, Inc. Donovan Bardier with Sunbelt Rentals, and Lakshmi Goel and Amy Bishop, both from the UNF Coggin College of Business. Thank you so much for joining us. At this time, I'm now going to turn it over to our Downtown Council Small Business Leader of the Year, Mr. Jim Webb, to introduce our spotlight speaker, John Hart, today. Jim, take it away.
Good morning, everybody. Sorry if you can't understand my voice. It's very grovelly from being out. I see Laura cracking up over there. Laura and I spent all day yesterday, and we'll spend all day next Thursday and the following Thursday setting up the JAX River Jams, which have just gotten bigger and bigger. I would say we had 5,000 people at the launding last night for Newfound Glory. Took me back to the 90s. But anyway, what we're going to talk about today is John Hart's going to tell us about SEO and what that means. He's been working with this technology for about 7 years, and he started his own company about 4 years ago. He's a graduate of Edward Waters College, and that's also where he met his fiance, and they're getting married this fall. So I'm going to turn it over to John, who is muted, so he should probably unmute himself and take it away. Thanks, John.
Thank you, Jim. Let me go ahead and share my screen. We do have a PowerPoint, so let's do that. Slow loading. All right. So yeah, I started Hart SEO about 4 years ago, a little over 4 years ago now, out of my dorm room over at Edward Waters College. My background for SEO started in Richmond, Virginia. I went to school at Virginia Union University, and I needed a part-time job to get through school and just, so I could get back and forth to the campus. And so I went to Craigslist of all places to find a job, and and I found a little bit of a sketchy marketing company. It is an Israeli marketing company, straight from Israel. The English is very new, and but they knew everything when it came to SEO, and so we got hundreds of companies to the first page of Google. And so that's where my expertise comes from. So my junior year at Edward Waters College is when I started the company. I was just trying to, once again, I wanted extra spending money, something that I could do while going to school and playing college basketball. And so, yeah, I started my own company. I just started helping small businesses, startups with their SEO, and now we also do website design. And when I first started the company, I was really just trying to build up my portfolio. So I was doing jobs for pretty much for free, just trying to build up that portfolio and show people that what I could do, but also get better at what I knew I could do already. So this is some of the clients that we've worked with. This is probably doubled or tripled now, but yeah, we've worked with a ton of companies. And our services include internet marketing, website design, digital marketing, logo design, social media management. Our goal is to help your company get ahead of your competition. All right, so SEO, it stands for search engine optimization, getting you to the top of Google results primarily, but you also have Yahoo search and Bing search as well. And like I said, that's where my bread and butter is at. Website design, modern responsive web design with SEO strategies applied throughout. So obviously my background is the SEO, and so adding alt tags, working on your meta titles, meta descriptions, while putting together a nice responsive website is our goal for that. Digital marketing, plan to manage your digital marketing campaign from Facebook to Google, and helping nonprofits get set up with their free Google ads through Google grants. That's a big thing that we've been doing for the last year. Helping nonprofits, that's one of probably about half my clients are nonprofits. I just love working with them and helping out their organizations, not only online, but helping volunteer with those organizations as well. Logo design, high quality logo design with different layouts to help your brand yourself well across the internet and in person. Social media management, brand yourself well on social media with high quality content creation, from pictures of your company at work to graphic design layouts that grab your potential customers' attention while they scroll. And this was a video, but we don't have to watch that. So I really appreciate you guys letting me share everything. I'm the SBLY for the Arlington Council. That's everything.
Well, thank you very much, John. Some of you might also recognize John. He was a member of the Downtown Council. This is where we first met when we were having in-person meetings. Zoom doesn't give him justice that he grew a foot between senior year and freshman year of college, and that's why he started basketball. He went from 6 to 7 feet in a couple months. But anyway, hopefully we can all get together in person sometime. And that sometime, we have a couple spots left for lunch today at Bellwether if anyone wants to join us in person. But anyway, I guess we turn it back to Laura at this point to keep this this party going. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Jim. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Laura Phillips Edgecombe. I am the Director of Catering Events and Community for the Bread and Board and Estrella Cocina. I am also the programs director for the Downtown Council. I want to thank everyone this morning for being here. Before I get into the nitty gritty, let me remind you this is being recorded. And then for those of you who have not joined us in the morning, if you have questions, we'll have a moment after our speakers where you can ask questions and the guys will answer them. You just throw them over in the chat box and they'll pop up. I'll ask them, we'll get feedback. And then if for some reason we go over and we're not able to get all your questions answered, happy to chat with our speakers this morning and get those answers for you. So know that all questions are important. Also, before we get into it, just like Gracie had said, I am going to shamelessly plug our walking tour. Next Saturday, on the 24th, we are going to be hosting a downtown walking tour. We have Katie Derringer from JWB, and we have Ennis. For those of you, he's with Groundwork JAX, Department of Transportation. He's an urban planner. He hosts these walking tours. Ennis Davis is this. He spoke before for us if you know who he is. But we're going to be starting the tour actually on the rooftop of Estrella. You have the option to sign up for a boxed breakfast as well, which will be provided by the Bread Board, of course. So we really hope that you can join us next Thursday. You can get your tickets on the chamber website. And I know that if you are a current member, you would have received the invite in an email, so check your inbox. Moving forward from that, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our speakers this morning. We have Beliakoff, who is the co-owner and executive chef of the Bread Board and Estrella Cocina. And we also have Chad Meadows, who is he's the COO and executive vice president of VyStar Credit Union. I, clearly being part of this lovely family, am over the moon excited about the partnership and what VyStar is doing downtown and what they have done for us, bringing us into downtown. We are over the moon. Beliakoff is local to Jacksonville, but went away to culinary school and came back in 2016 to open the Bread Board, which is a fast casual style, the bread and the board. So it's a high-end sandwich, which we actually moved into entrees and stuff as well, but we cure our own meats, we make our own condiments, we bake our own bread fresh every morning. Our bakers come in at 3 a.m. and make our own in-house desserts as well. For those of you that have not been to the restaurant, I'm very sad and disappointed and would love for you to come join us. We have a location in Five Points. We have a location downtown coming, and Dwayne will speak more to that. And then we also have a location in the St. John's Town Center. I feel like I could pretty much give the whole speech, so I'm going to turn it over to Dwayne so I don't take away all of his content. Amanda Crawford's actually here also from VyStar, and she's going to be helping the guys, and they're going to walk you around and they're going to show you what's going on up here. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and send it over to them. You guys ready?
Oh, Amanda, they're on mute.
That was so good.
Yes.
We're gonna do that, redo that perfect introduction. Good morning and welcome to the roof of 100 West Bay Street. We're really excited to be here. I can't see everyone because the camera's flipped on us, but Chad and I are excited to be up here and share a little bit about the projects that we've got going on down here at the campus. I thought this would be more Q&A, so I guess I'm just gonna go with it. We moved back to Jacksonville in 2016 from Portland, Oregon. I was there for roughly 18 years. I grew up in Jacksonville, went to high school at Orange Park High School, that is. Graduated from Florida State and decided to go west, if you will, after graduating and go to culinary school at the Western Culinary Institute in Portland. They lived there as young kids, and my dad said, if you can go anywhere for school, you gotta go to Portland. So I did. I packed up and moved across the country with the intent of coming back a year or two later after school and opening a beach bar, JAX Beach, Atlantic Beach, something with all my pals, which 18 years later never happened because it was right at the start of the farm to table movement, and there was no bigger epicenter than Portland, with chefs like Greg Higgins and Christopher Israel and just a ton of guys that were so well connected in the wine world and all the farmers in the Willamette Valley. So needless to say, kid in a candy store, I just started my new career and began cooking for some of those said chefs, worked my way up through a number of kitchens, and naively at 30, decided it's time to open my own restaurants, which I did. And so I wasn't that naive, I suppose, but it started another kind of long journey and pivot for me. But it's been exciting. And, 18 years later, having enjoyed my time there, and I'm asked tons of friends in the industry, looked back and said, essentially, I've missed all of my nieces and nephews growing up, everybody that was kind of here on the East Coast, scattered from Tennessee to Florida to the Carolinas, and kind of sat back. It was probably a rainy one of the many rainy days in February of 2016, and really decided it was time to go home. So we did. We being the type that can kind of pack up and take your career with you, we decided to sell our businesses in Portland and come back and spend some time with family. Initially, the Bread and Board was just going to be a fun sandwich concept that we could manage quickly and in and out and kind of enjoy the sun and fun of Florida. And well, here we are. We are opening our third Bread and Board in just less than 45 days downstairs from where we are at Estrella Cocina today, and which is a new concept. So our story really took flight, and people have received us, the concept, extremely well, and we're very grateful to our neighborhood of 5 Points for really propelling us as a business, and now a substantial business, going from 25 employees at the time to we figure when we open in a month and a half, we'll have about 130 employees under our belt. So we certainly we've grown exponentially in a very short 4 years. We can thank Jacksonville and its eagerness and to accept new small business, of course, and really being at a point where it was really ready to boom, from a culinary standpoint. Some really great area chefs that were leading kind of the charge, if you will. John Insetta at the Black Sheep Group, really, I think, really kind of putting the stamp on Jacksonville with all of his mini restaurants now as well. So all of that was really exciting, and we were embraced. When you come from a place like Portland, where there are hundreds and hundreds of restaurants, one of the most densely packed restaurant communities in the United States, it was refreshing to be kind of embraced by your peers, that everyone wanted to see Jacksonville grow and become a food destination. Food tourism is a big thing that's starting to blossom here in Jacksonville, in the metro area, which really is just, the food is the reason to come to Jacksonville, as well as the many other attractions and amenities that we have to offer. So we looked at other places regionally to be close to family, because you want to be close to family, but not necessarily at their back door. But when it came down to it, when you look at cities like Atlanta and Asheville, and again, speaking regionally, in Orlando, they had their boom. They started their boom about, well, I'm talking 2016 now. So they were a few years before Jacksonville, and that had always been the case in my experience, having grown up here, that you looked around and you saw what people were doing in other cities, and then it would slowly trickle in. Well, Jacksonville's now booming, and I think in a lot of ways starting to outpace some of those cities, which is very exciting to be a part of. And I feel like between partnerships like we have with VyStar and again, with support of peers and being able to support peers, it's really great when I get a call from a local chef who's starting up this business and needs some advice, to be able to offer that and actually feel like I know my way around the city enough to offer some guidance. But I think it's an exciting time for Jacksonville. It's certainly an exciting time for our company. Hopefully for all of our new employees that will be coming out. We've got a job fair this weekend in which we all know that there's a bit of a challenge these days in recruitment and retention, of course, of employees. But we're hoping show and tell goes a long way, getting people to the rooftop, getting people down to the Bread and Board, talking about the partnership and all the dynamic aspects of the business here at the campus, that it'll be really enticing. And really on that note, I'll say when I left Jacksonville, the Landing was still booming. In fact, I would work my summer jobs at Ruby Tuesdays bartending. And when I came back, it was a different experience. Both from my experience of having left Jacksonville and downtown was really kind of at its peak at the time. I think we're shooting for a new peak now, of course. But Portland being as dense as it is from an urban core standpoint, it was almost shocking, excuse me, that people weren't taking advantage of downtown and the beauty of downtown. It's a very clean downtown. And if you get out and you travel to major cities, the city has really done a good job of keeping it clean, maintained, a good place, a pleasant place to be, and the riverfront views. Portland has a beautiful river that runs through it, and no one even looks at it. You know, here people live on the river and enjoy the river, and it is really what sets our city apart. So it was unusual to see it not being utilized like you might see in other larger cities with that kind of landscape. That said, I think we're all committed. Obviously, we made a big leap of faith in working with VyStar and coming downtown and expanding, really our biggest store ever. We've gone from 2,000 square feet at the converted 7-Eleven, if you will, to our second location at St. John's Town Center, which is about 1,000 square feet, and mid-size restaurant. We do a lot of catering out of that kitchen, to now this massive, and we have roughly 8,000 square feet on the ground floor, which encompasses the restaurant and also our sidebar project, if you will, Bread Board Provisions, which is kind of a gourmet grab-and-go market featuring a lot of the items we have, but a way that both employees in the building can come down and grab a very quick lunch if they don't have time to go through the entire Bread Board experience, but also the surrounding hotels that are starting to be built and surrounding office communities as well. So we have about equal 4,000 square feet of provisions marketplace and another 4,500 square feet of restaurant on the main floor. And it's beautiful. Our friends at Bicamy Design Studio and our architect Tom Duke have just done an incredible job of transforming that space with a vision of kind of a throwback feel of old banker buildings with marble. We didn't spend the money on marble. It's faux marble, just so you know when you come in. And then really aligning that with a modern vision. So I think the space is really playful. There's a company called Antica Modern who did all of our millwork, a lot of it up here on the rooftop, which we're going to show you some around a little bit. And it's not finished. There's no landscaping up here. But then secondarily, of course, Estrella Cocina was a project that kind of came to us midstream in building out downstairs. Chad and Brian at VyStar had always planned to have this beautiful rooftop space. It initially was going to be conceptualized as kind of a break room, a very nice break room for the VyStar employees, and it will be that as well as our restaurant. But dreamers as they are, I think when you get up here and you see the view through the camera today, but when you experience it on your own, well, no, bring lots of people, not groups. When you bring your groups of people up here, it needed to be more than that, you know, and that's kind of, I think, their approach. I'll let Chad speak to all of that, but I think that's probably the best motto I could say about their vision of downtown Jacksonville. It needs to be more than that, you know, and it's really exciting that they have brought us along. So Estrella was born out of, we need another type of cuisine at the building, and we need something that matches the views of the river and pair up with the being coastal here in Jacksonville as we are. My love for seafood, Brian's love for tacos. So guacamole, I hear that a lot. And so what we've done is we're creating, we've got about 3 weeks yet until we do our soft opening to the VyStar employees for lunch, and we're going to ease into happy hours for the general public. And then in a month and a half, we'll be open, you know, full steam up here, we're thinking. But and part of this was born out of a love for travel to Mexico and scuba diving and all the things I can't do anymore that I have kids. But coastal Mexican towns and simplicity of seafood and the matchup with Jacksonville and our great seafood sources that we have here, that we have designed what we're calling a coastal Mexican restaurant and menu, very seafood forward, though there's going to be tons for everyone. And of course, Ryan's Tacos. We might have Chad's Bowl. We haven't designed that yet, but who knows? Chad's Rice Bowl. But we're really excited because it does offer another alternative to dining within the building, quick service for the employees. We've got skyways between buildings here. It's just really going to be fun. So I mean, that's what I have to share, and we can certainly take questions about all of that. And I'm sure there will be, we'll share the view, but I, of course, would love Chad to chime in, just talked away.
Hello, everyone. So I would just kind of add to what Dwayne had mentioned. When we made the decision to move downtown about 3 years ago, hopefully most people know we're a Jacksonville-based organization. We were born and raised off of NES-based JAX in 1952. So our heart has always been in Jacksonville, and we wanted to really help revitalize the core and bring to life what we think is a really amazing downtown on the river, just with some really good scenery. As Dwayne mentioned, it's a really clean downtown. I've lived in Seattle and a lot of other areas, and this one is very clean. It's a place that you want to bring family and friends to and just hang out for the day. And we wanted to be part of that revitalization and help bring people downtown. And we saw an opportunity with the campus, and we refer to it as the campus because we have the whole city block, and we've really brought this environment where we want people that live, work, and play to say, hey, I want to go to the VyStar campus and get food or listen to music or do whatever it is, hang out. But the opportunity to bring some really good restaurants and some food downtown. Not that we don't already have some great ones, but when we had this vision, we actually had eaten at Bread Board. And when Brian and I were sitting there eating lunch, he had a relationship with Dwayne and Jonathan already. We just talked about the perfect partnership that we thought about for downtown and what downtown needs. And it was really a match made in heaven. And so we reached out to him and started working on this vision that we had. And it all came together with not only the restaurant they'll have on the first floor, but also the Estrella Cocina here on the 7th floor, and what it's really going to mean to not only our employees, but to anyone that lives, works, and plays downtown. So we're excited. We could not be more thrilled about the partnership we have with these guys, and we look forward to a lot of success and bringing more and more people to this area and enjoying the campus and enjoying everything we have to offer in downtown Jacksonville.
Okay. Well, so we're gonna walk you around a little bit. We're kind of in the middle of the dining room right now. I'm gonna start you back where it all begins, coming off the elevators. Guests to the restaurant will be greeted downstairs in the main lobby off of Bay Street itself. So we're right at the corner of Laura and Bay. You can see the Main Street Bridge from here and from the Laura Street Junction there. You're gonna come in, you're gonna have signage on the main floor, but it's really cosmopolitan is what it is. You'll be greeted on the main floor by our host team who'll be communicating at the rooftop, kind of gauging volumes of guests up here. We're still going to be working through the summer on spacing everyone correctly. It's a very large space. It's not hard to do up here. We are rated for standing events at 500 guests, and that's because of the size of the restrooms that we're able to do and the floor plan. We have approximately 175 seats drawn in plan. It's a really flexible space so that we can do some groups for private events while we're still open to the public. But I'll take you to kind of how we thought through this. The rooftop was a series of corporate offices and boardrooms back when it was just the profit building. We would climb the seven flights of stairs essentially to get up here, and then it was a wide open space. That said, you're coming off an elevator chute when you come up here. It's a little tight, as I'll show you. Tight's not the right word. Efficient. Sorry, walking back. You can kind of see we've got a bank of elevators when you come up from the main floor. There's beautiful signage here that welcomes you to Australia, and of course our constant looping, showing a partnership here with VyStar. But looking back now into the dining room, you come off the elevators and it's a real lean, let's say, squeeze going through here. We're going to pass the bar in the kitchen first on the left-hand side. We could have built a bar that you could, quote unquote, belly up to. We didn't want that. You don't come to the roof to stare at a TV and talk with your bartender necessarily. You're coming up here to look at beautiful downtown Jacksonville. Pardon the mess if you see anything. We're moving in. We're testing recipes. We got some food going on. But this wall here that you're looking at, you can see the beer taps, is essentially going to be our beverage shrine. Tequilas and mezcals and things we pair with the menu, a little service bar. But as you then kind of pan into the dining room, where Chad and Laura are seating, you really start to see all of downtown Jacksonville. And this is like unmatched views. And there's some beautiful rooftop bars. We hope to partner with the folks over at Calford and River and Post. There's of course a Black Sheep, which really led the charge, but we envision progressive rooftop dining and parties and events, people wanting to go between the two. Every one of them is unique, different perspective and views of downtown. From the west side of the river, where our original location with River and Post, Calford, which we look at, we kind of joke that we're going to put a zip line between the two. We'll go down for steaks, they can come up for tacos. And then we'll kind of take you outside. So we're working, of course, in the next 2 weeks to get the room planted, if you will. We're hoping to really evoke the sense of being in Baja, Mexico. Lots of touchable cactus and snake grasses and things like that will really speak to being on the coast. And then, of course, paired with the smell of carnitas and carne asada and all the great seafoods, which I've been testing over the last couple of days, and I'm still full. We'll kind of take you out. It's a modern space. VyStar has built in a lot of technology to it, which is going to be great. I can imagine groups like your own coming up here and holding meetings, but we have every bit of the electronic technology you can imagine, and patching in and stuff I don't even know because I just stay in the kitchen and make food. You all know it better than me, but embedded screens and sound systems that we can tap into and do zoning and all that kind of stuff. Is that right? That sounded right. But this is when the magic really happens. And unlike Portland, which we love dearly, still call it partial home, all our lots of friends and family up there, we have kind of the flip to the seasons. Whereas there you get about 3 months of ideal weather in the summer, and then you have questionable, if not downright hard to deal with. Here we have the reverse. We have 9 months of really phenomenal weather. And then the 3 months, which, if you're a true Floridian, you don't mind. I've actually, over the last 4 years, I don't think I sweat anymore. I don't know how it happened, but I can go out in the summertime and it doesn't bother me. There were tons of light studies done on this space. So this is a really beautiful morning light. But as the day progresses, we are of course concerned that we had to invest in hundreds of umbrellas up here. They really did math between the Wells Fargo Tower, of course the VyStar Tower, and Bank of America. We're kind of surrounded by these massive structures that there are only a couple hours of the day in which you actually get any kind of direct sunlight. Most of the time it's pretty filtered up here at happy hour when we imagine this is really going to take off. Folks are getting off work, not ready to get in the 95 traffic, the 295 traffic. They're going to come up here and they can relax and have a light bite, maybe a cocktail or agua fresca or something fun. They're shaded and it's really comfortable. It's really breezy too. You can see my hair blowing right now. But we've got essentially 5 feet of surround. It's hurricane-proof glass that VyStar has installed up here. I'm not a big heights guy, but I even feel safe. This thing doesn't move. It really, and when you're seated at the tables here, it blocks. When on those breezier days, it really does block. I don't think you're looking down at the Morris Street buildings, and got the trio that is going to be started here shortly, and of course, VyStar's commitment to build a new parking structure is right behind this block here. This parking structure is going to be combined parking and retail opportunities on the main floor. But the roof is expansive. So you saw the Main Street view here. We call the wedding shot essentially, because there will be, if you're into the urban environment and you're having an event, that the bridge glows at night, as you know. It's really just starting at 4 o'clock through the evening. It's a spectacular view. And then if you go looking north here, we continue around. We've got more tables. Everything is spaced, and we have some more things coming in here to really get it fully set up. Now we're looking west. We have even more tables here. You can see the hood system here. So that's our little kitchen that's tucked in there, which we will not be taking you into today because our chef friend from Portland, who's here for 8 weeks helping me test my menu, kind of exploded on it last night. The beautiful, you can't see it, I'm sure, from this perspective, but far off to the northeast, you see the shipyards, and at night you see the Dames Point Bridge. You've really got like all the beautiful, and straight down Bay Street, you've got Daly's Place and the stadium that lights up, the Hart Bridge. So all the iconic, I feel like iconic viewpoints in Jacksonville, we kind of tap into. And it is stellar. We have enjoyed coming up here and working. Now we can office up here for the next few weeks until everything is up and running. One of the big things with VyStar was that even though we're up here and we're running a business and we anticipate having lots of people, we're always going to welcome the VyStar employees up here. We want them to come up here. If I come up in the mornings to start get the kitchen running and I see 20 people doing yoga, it's going to make my day. You know, I want people to use the space. It's a community space as much as it is our restaurant. Of course, that's how we view the whole campus. Chad can talk about, if we go back inside, Chad can talk about the Breezeway or project, which is really the space between the campus parking structure, our building at 100 West Bay, and then the tower. But talk about urban landscape. It's just from a design standpoint, it's beautiful, but it's meant to pull people, not just employees, but everyone that's in downtown to this campus and to the river. So we'll kind of walk back in and maybe get some questions.
Okay. So we're going to play this a little differently since we're all together. Lots of fun. I'm going to keep my camera view, but I'm going to keep my sound off so that there's no echo. I know you can probably hear a little bit there, but it's okay. All right, guys, we definitely have lots of questions. First of all, oh, y'all look real cute in that shot. You do. Australia's behind it. Oh, it's great. I love it. Okay, we need to take a picture. Anyway, first of all, thank you very much, clearly, for coming, and Chad, thank you for coming over so early this morning, and thank you for getting up and coming here and doing this morning.
Also known as I don't do mornings
at all. So thank you so much for being here, and I'm just really excited that everyone got to see this. I had some people commenting privately that when I was sitting over on the couch, it says we have banquettes in here. It's so lovely. Someone made a comment that I looked like I was on a Mexican vacation because the sun was coming in, like I had the surfboard, and that's what I said. I was like, that's what we're going for. So I'm really glad that that vibe and that feel is working through Zoom. So with that, guys, I'm gonna ask y'all some questions. We have lots of people saying, oh my God, this is beautiful, way to go. Ooh, we got some feedback, hold on. Okay. We have lots of people. Yeah, hold on, guys. I'm so sorry. Technology world that we're living in right now. Oh, there you go. Can y'all hear me? Yeah. Okay. Cool. So basically, lots of praise. Oh my God, this is beautiful. Thank you so much, VyStar. Thank you so much. Lots of this is awesome and amazing. So we're gonna go to some of the Q&As though. A lot of the questions that you're thinking you're gonna probably be asked are being asked. So we're gonna go from there. The first one I'm gonna give to you. How do you see Bread Board collaborating with other downtown restaurants, restaurateurs? We know that Bellwether's here, we know that Calvert's here. How do you see that kind of all intermingling?
Well, I mean, there's two different things. Density is really important. Traffic in your restaurants. If we were out here as the lone soldier, if you will, it would be 100% on us to attract folks to the space, or spaces in this case. Intense marketing. I mean, if we were just to essentially say that we found a perfect building or a perfect space, but when you have density and you have quality restaurants like we do surrounding us, it goes back to that food tourism piece. Is that you want to create these hotspots, these meccas. So, of course, DBI and DIA are really focused on this corridor. First of all, Laura Street corridor. Still not 100% sure where the elbow is because
I'll take you there.
I know.
I'll take you there when we leave.
I've been to all the places, but I can't find the elbow right now. But elbow, and then the entertainment district, and all of those things that are going to come. There's going to be so many reasons to be here, which naturally drives traffic to and visitors to all of our restaurants. And when we're all succeeding, we're creating just a partnership in that, a mutual investment, if you will, and keeping things exciting and fun to do. And then naturally, this is, if I had to count, this is my 9th restaurant that I've opened and owned over the years. So I have that, and at some point I will retire.
No.
Well, yes, I will. I promise I will retire. But my, I feel like my role now is offering a hand, to folks. It's not just about the bread board. It's not just about Estrella Cocina. It's me answering call or Jonathan, who knows. I think he knows city code sometimes better than some of the people at the city. He gets it done. And he's the type that'll pick up the phone and spend an hour with someone, saying, how do I get a liquor license? How do I get my hood to pass? And it's just offering a hand. If we can be a resource for folks who are interested in all of Jacksonville, but right now trying to attract more young startup chefs, to the area and other businesses too, not just restaurants. I mean, I'd love to see restaurants and other retail and family services and fun things popping up around us. More reasons to come.
I have a question for Chad. So I've got one easy question for you, then I'm gonna give you a little bit of a harder question next. But the easy question is, why the bread board? Like what about us, leadership, vision, food? What was it that stood out that was like, this goes with the vibe that you have for VyStar downtown, etc.?
I think you mentioned a lot, right? The leadership, the vision, the food was all extremely important to us, but I think it's the personalities and the relationships. So VyStar is very big on relationships and getting to know people and that trust and that transparency. And I always like to say that Brian and I are old souls where it's a handshake, and we really love to get to know people. And Dwayne and Jonathan, the minute we met them, there was an instant connection in terms of these are the right partners. These guys understand what we're trying to do. They have the same vision for Jacksonville and for the entire region. And that's who we wanted to partner with. We take it very serious when we partner with anyone. And we really want to get to know them and make sure that there's a culture fit, that there's a personality alignment, and that they have the same vision and we can get there together. And that's really what it was. I mean, it was almost an instant connection. The food is amazing. And Chad's bread bowl is coming. So just be ready for it. But no, it was really about Dwayne and Jonathan. We knew the food was great, but it was more them as people and what they are trying to do for the city of Jacksonville and what they bring to the table.
Oh, I love that. Makes it hard. Of course it does, right? Because I feel the same way, right?
Yeah.
I left an industry that I've been in for a very long time and came to be with the guys 3 years ago. So for the same exact reason, it's like, I'm in love with, you know what I mean? I'm in love with the restaurant. I ate there all the time, but it was like, no, like I love them. Like they're great. Like I see like their vision and their heart is just in everything. I want to be a part of it. So I 1000%.
Well, Laura is also a go big or go home kind of personality too. And
That's good. We need those.
Yeah, it was that was a good aligning of skill sets. The dreamers, the doers, and the drivers.
And all together, we're all doing a lot. So let's talk about let's talk about the hours, right? Let's talk about what's actually going to happen. When is this open? You had mentioned that it originally was thought to be a space like a lounge for VyStar employees, right? But now, and then it kind of melded into something else. So hours for both restaurants. What are we doing? I know the answer, but I want you to answer. What are we doing for hours? And what does it look like for the public versus VyStar?
Well, eventually for the public, we will be open lunch and dinner. And of course, with this rooftop, a little bit later into the evening. I mean, we're not going to be a 2 o'clock rooftop bar by any means, but initially on the roof here at Estrella, we are going to be opening to the VyStar employees in the building for a solid month, if not a little bit longer than that, for lunchtime. Give them the chance, one, to try the food, to get feedback, see what's working, what's not. Too much food, because I'm notorious for that. Not food. I'm never not enough food.
That's not the problem.
But and then our thought was, as folks are beginning to think about leaving their desks here, that they will consider coming up here to kind of ease into their evenings, to do happy hours and dinner, potentially have people come down and join them for dinner, of course. We imagine the weekend will be quite the destination. People will seek this out and a reason to come back downtown I think that's always a concern, and it was the concern, but that goes back to the density question. And once you leave your day job, you don't come back. But we're really, between the two spaces and the build outs and design, giving a solid reason to think about coming back down. But we'll be open in the evenings, starting at a happy hour up here. Downstairs, it is even more dynamic in that sense, because surrounding employees, VyStar employees, will be coming to their jobs at 7:30 and 8 in the morning. And so the Provisions Marketplace will be open early while we're warming up in the main kitchen. Provisions will be open for some grab and go breakfast. Of course, is Ben on the call this morning? Martin?
Martin is not on the call this morning, but Martin's Coffee, Ben Johnson will be a part of our.
Ben Johnson. In the marketplace itself, we partnered with Martin Coffee, which will have a really slick coffee bar in there. We also have our friends at Good Dough Donuts in San Marco, which they have their own counter within there. We'll be supplying donuts Monday through Friday, maybe even Saturday, until we sell out. And of course, we hope we keep them through the day. I want my donut at 3:30, not 7 in the morning myself. But and then we have our Kelly and Jamie from Alewife. We've got a mini pub within the space, and they'll be doing a seasonal beer collection. But we'll be open in the mornings for grab and go breakfast and coffee, and then lunchtime, of course, we imagine to really be the epicenter of the business down there. But we're staying open into the evenings, and that is something that we work through with DIA, if you will, in really working towards to bring business to Laura Street and kind of keep people here into the evening. We'll be open. We actually will have a bit of a more expanded menu out of that kitchen in the evenings, featuring a few more entrees than we would at the other locations. And then kind of as that starts to close up shop in the evenings, and we're going to be open. Sorry, that's probably more specific. Right now, we're shooting for 9 p.m. with the opportunity to stay open until 10 p.m. on the weekends if
there's shows or there's
special events, anything happening downtown. And really, as we see the next block up really, come to life with the new hotels and the condos and the foot traffic and the density of people, they're wanting to step out of their homes a block up here and get a late bite. Well, we want to be there for them. So there's not a lot of go dark time, at the campus for us. And of course, our bread bakers are here at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. So everybody will be waking to the smell of fresh bread on the main floor. So open a lot.
Well, and that's where I was trying to pull for you. We will be open a lot.
Right.
And I know that with COVID, some of the other downtown restaurants have adjusted hours, but we are coming in open, just so everyone knows. Okay, Chad, you're up. Some people are skeptical about people returning to their offices and continuing working from home. You all seem bullish on bringing employees downtown though. What are the naysayers missing?
It's a good question. We get it all the time. So the one thing I would say is, so we've been not closed, but having a remote environment for I feel like about a year now. And within the last couple of months, you've seen a big push from employees reaching out saying, when can I come back? And so on any given day, we probably have 20 to 30% of our employees back at the campus, not because it's something we required. We haven't really put together the plan. We're finalizing it, but it hasn't come out yet. But we see a really aggressive effort on August 1 to where we have a plan in place and we have something there. But you're starting to get a lot of employees that are saying, I want to get back to the office. I want to get back to seeing my coworkers. And when you have an organization, especially like VyStar, we talk about personality, we talk about culture. It's really hard to build that when you're in a truly remote environment. Now, that said, we will have an environment where we have people coming back and working on-prem as well as remote, and continuing that in the long term. But we don't see an environment where we're ever 100% remote, just because that's not who we are. We also have heard from other companies that they're starting to see the same thing from their employees, where it's nice to have the flexibility, but people do want to come into the office. They do want to meet their coworkers, especially those new employees who join an organization because of the culture. They want to be there to meet the people. And we've actually had a couple of fintechs reach out to us lately that we've been aggressively trying to bring into Jacksonville that want to come to the campus, that want to be part of this. And their employees want to be in an office setting too, because it's the energy, it's the personality, it's everything that you miss when you're not in the office that people are starting to miss. And I know I tried to work from home, and I have a lot of respect for people who love to work from home, but it is not for me because my kids are all over the place. And I can only imagine what summer's going to be like when they're full bore around the house, friends. And so I come in about 4 days a week. And again, that's a personal choice that I have, but I really enjoy being here. We are very big on the safety and healthy and making sure that our employees have an environment where they can come, where they can have social distancing, where we have barriers put in place. And so we've done everything that we can. But again, we're starting to hear a lot from the surrounding businesses as well, that they're seeing the same thing. And if you come down here on any given day, I mean, we have the JAX River Jams on Thursdays. Those things have 7,000 to 10,000 people. People are wanting to get back out. Those are exciting events, and you're starting to see the traffic flow down here pick up a lot. And as Dwayne mentioned, once you get the trio, the Barnett's amazing. There's going to be just more and more people down here. And so we are very bullish on it because of who we are as an organization. And us alone have over 1,000 employees down here. That's a lot of people, and we'll continue to grow that number. So we're bullish because we've heard the feedback. Like I said, we'll never get back to 100%, but if you're 30 to 40% right now, and we expect about 75% of our employees to come back, but that's 75% of a larger workforce than what we had pre-COVID, and that workforce will continue to grow. And so we are very bullish because it's who we are, it's what we see. I think the city is trying to entice people to come back, and you're seeing people doing it.
Absolutely. I mean, you brought up jams, and so that one of the questions is, how do we, as a collective whole, feel about the launding, as we lovingly refer to it, and what's going to happen there? I mean, that's your front, that's literally your front door. That's like our front and a half door, right? So kind of like, I mean, I know what I want to see for it, right? But you as VyStar, you as now, business owner downtown, what do y'all think, want for the landing? Like, what do you want it to be?
Well, I am excited at the prospect of it remaining an urban, a green space, if you will. First of all, Jacksonville is huge, and we all know this. 20 minutes to anywhere. There's nothing wrong with tucking in green spaces and parks into that urban landscape. And of course, the city is going to invest in having it well designed and well built. But rather than replace the landing with just another mall, I think by keeping it apart, it's going to help the properties down the street and blocks away from it to be renovated and reused, repurposed, which is huge. Coming from Portland, the most number of parks in the United States per capita, right? I don't think it's per capita. It's definitely the most number of parks.
It has the most park space. We have the most green space
in Portland. So we love it. I mean, literally every other block, you could take your lunch and sit there and enjoy the weather or just people watching. And I think that for us in the provisions marketplace, of course, that's ideal. Employees who have a little bit longer break can grab surrounding employees, people, office folks can grab lunch and go and sit in the park and daydream and stare at the river and look at Jacksonville. And there's plenty of opportunity surrounding it. So I was very pleased to know that we're going to have unobstructed views and a nice you guys call it the lawning, but I
We
think
do
that's
call it
fine.
the
The lawn, I
lawning.
mean, I think.
That's why though,
you know,
because it's a lawn.
yeah, it's-
So it's a lawn.
And as the river jams has shown in the last
Oh.
couple of weeks, it's a great use of space. It's not going to be, I know there's been criticism and folks thinking that it's just going to sit there unutilized. I don't think that's the intent at all, especially with VyStar, and Chad can speak to that, but they're already energizing the space, and it's exciting to watch from the rooftop, all of the folks coming back downtown and putting
It's so
their
nice.
toe in the water, if you will. And we've done the same thing. Our approach has been the same. We will keep the space up here comfortable for folks who have concerns about dining out. We do that in the other restaurants. We haven't put all our furniture back in place at either of the other two restaurants.
Yes.
We still are taking every precaution that we possibly can until we get through this together. So.
Yeah, and I would say just knowing about how the plans are evolving and the RFP process and
Right.
what the plans are for the space between the city and what Lori's doing with the
Yep.
DIA is really amazing. I think what we've seen and heard so far, it's going to be really well done. I could definitely see some more space for businesses to be there,
Mhm.
but I do think that there's a need to keep some of the lawn and some of the outdoor area there
Yes.
for things like the river jams to continue. We're also building out the breezeway, which I know Dwayne mentioned earlier
Yes.
with Amanda. That's just a continuation of that, where it's just between our two buildings, but we've created some green space. We're actually putting a stage out there, so
Yeah.
during the day we'll have bands in there, and we'll create a plan on what that looks like, whether it's every day at X time or certain days of the week. And then we're also putting a shipping container restaurant that Dwayne and his team will probably. We're still working out all the details, but it'll be hamburgers, hot dogs, and shakes and things like that. And I know Brian committed to some of that, so I haven't. Dwayne hasn't committed to that, everyone. So,
I'm
but
like,
just
you heard it here first, folks, per usual. Here we
between
go.
between that and just everything we're doing, we're making it a space where there's always something happening.
Right.
And so if you're eating downstairs and you want to go out in the breezeway and eat, and there's a band out there, we're trying to keep that energy going even when the river jams is
Yeah,
not taking place. So we definitely see that as an area that has a lot of opportunity for some more commercial building, but keeping that open look so that we don't lose the
So
views.
we don't lose the river.
But bringing more to what Jacksonville has. And Dwayne's point, I mean, the riverfront is amazing. And there's so much potential. You look at places like San Antonio, and I think we're just at the tip of where we're going to be.
100%.
So I'm excited. I think it's going to be an amazing design. I know Lori's got a lot of high aspirations for it, and very confident in what she'll do with it.
I will say, Jim mentioned it on the call, like being part of like production, and then also Bread and Board is out there catering VIP. So if you're in VIP, you get to eat our food. It's just been amazing to like be back in that space and to be like around others in a safe way. I mean, it's a testament, I think, to the city, to all of us, to everyone who's coming and kind of, like you said, like dipping your toe. It's like, can we do this? And it's like, no, we can do this. I mean, with tons of photos, like where we go up in the VyStar Tower, we've been up in the Wells Fargo Tower, taking pictures down, and people are socially distancing, and they are, I mean, we can still do things.
Yeah.
We're very fortunate in Florida also, right? Because we have really nice weather, but we're very fortunate, and we have the space right now to be able to do that. And I think it's been it's just nice to show that space can be used for many things.
And
Okay.
this when we thank Hannah Ferguson for painstakingly spray painting an entire city block so that folks can have
So that people can have
their
their
grid.
stairs.
Their grid. Yes.
So true. This is a fun one. Dwayne, would you please explain the name Estrella Cocina?
Well,
Because this is
it
cool.
depends
I
on
like
how you
this.
interpret, right?
Yes.
Estrella Cocina, we went back and forth quite a bit. The space is so unique, and there's an obviously a tie-in, Estrella meaning star, and our partners at VyStar, of course. But being in the tower, and when you're down here at night, literally you can see the stars. And then loosely, Estrella Cocina is star of the kitchen, and that is not me. I will have a great team, I promise. But it might speak to your favorite dish. It might speak to everything coming out on the plate is the star of the evening. So it's dreamy, and that's really what it came down to. It's dreamy, and definitely a nod to the folks who helped us create it, and that being Chad and Brian and their vision of the space.
And let's see. So one of the questions is, what menu item are you most excited about? We know that Chad wants a bread bowl, which really There's that. We'll figure that out.
Brian's Tacos, I think.
I know, Brian's talking.
Dwayne's committed a lot on this one.
Well,
He just committed my milkshakes downstairs.
Yeah,
oh Lord. But Dwayne, I know, so mine's ceviche for what it's worth. Dwayne's ceviches are absolutely amazing. And it's a running joke because I don't like Mexican food. It's not something that I really enjoy.
She's not a cumin fan.
I'm not, that's actually what it is, right? We figured this out and Dwayne
Yeah,
has
it really-
brought me in.
There's lots more to Mexican food than rice, beans, and cumin. And,
Right, but that's.
And
all I
that,
can
and
know.
that, which is, I've been lucky, in years past because of my scuba diving hobby to travel the west coast of Mexico and some of the smaller fishing towns where the waters are pretty or pristine, and go on these dive trips. And then you come off, and ceviche there is something that's a giveaway, and it's to lure folks into the bars. You pay for your tequila, but you get your fresh seafood for free. A little amuse, if you will, in restaurants or teaser. But that's really, since being in Jacksonville, and I'm discovering them slowly, there's some nice seafood restaurants for sure, or chefs who have restaurants and they're featuring great seafood dishes. But for me, outside of the celebrated trip to Mayport, where you go up, and do the Mayport shrimp day, and you are doing the fish shack kind of thing. Like I felt like there was a natural relationship in my mind between coastal Mexican cuisine and the kind of seafood that we can get in Florida, whether it's from the Gulf or the Keys or the East Coast with said shrimp. That it's coming right into Jacksonville and being distributed around the state. So we kind of get it here first, those shrimp. And of course the tropical environments that near each other, and the breezes that you feel up here when you close your eyes and smell the food, and you hopefully I use the word transport a lot, that you're transported to Baja, and then you open your eyes and you're in your beautiful downtown Jacksonville. But so that said, because I can ramble about food. The seafood is really what I'm most excited about on the menu. Though yesterday we did our mole testing. We were doing 3 different types of moles. It's all delicious. So yeah, I can't even count the number of salsas and different uses of the salsas that we'll have. But it's not really a raw section on the menu as much as really fresh, simple seafood dishes, which will have 3 different types of ceviches rotating. Various grilled trips, and in the menu, antojitos are kind of cravings or small plates, and it's a very broad category. But we have a small number of entrees really on the menu, and a vast number of items in the $8 and $10 range to encourage sharing. Folks come in and be able to have with a group 3, 4, 5 of these small plates, and really get a flavor for what we're doing and the simplicity and cleanness and sometimes robust flavors of coastal Mexican cuisine. So I could be all over, but the menu's small. It'll change frequently and seasonally, and of course in said ramp up time where we're getting to talk to employees in the building. They'll drive a lot of the lunchtime menu for sure, because it's going to be quick. And so it would be amiss to say we're not going to have amazing tacos. We have an ancient taco press, a mechanized taco or tortilla machine that came from Mexico that'll be putting out fresh corn tortillas. So everything's going to be made as it hopefully you'd expect from Bread Board folks. But the tacos are delicious. A little bit different style. They're kind of pan fried. If you're familiar with quesadilla, which is kind of a stuffed griddled taco, so crisp, but inside it's nice and pillowy and really good vegetable fillings and meat fillings as well. But yeah, it's been really exciting to rediscover the cuisine over the last year and a half, and even more exciting to trial and taste it.
Well, perfect. I'm excited. I'm looking at the time, and actually I got a note like, hey, Laura, it's 9:12. So we are at the end of this. I am going to say that if someone has asked when do restaurants on campus open to the public, I'm going to give the very quick answer to that. We are shooting for the end of May. Upstairs is almost done. Downstairs is not. Our furniture was in the Suez Canal, so there was a thing with that. We've got some setbacks, but hopefully we will be open by the end of May, or right there at the beginning of summer. So just stay tuned, follow us. There are some things coming on the line, some private preview parties that we're going to be hosting that everyone, can get invited to. So, and come next Saturday, you can see the space, and we'll even let you see downtown. We'll let you see the breezeway. It's going to be a lot of fun. With that, I do once again want to say thank you to Chad and VyStar.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And then I want to thank my boss and my fearless leader, Dwayne, for the opportunity to be a part of all this, because it's absolutely amazing. And for the plug on the call it now, I've been part of trying to make downtown awesome and amazing for about 10 years. So it's really exciting to actually be part and partnered with someone who's wanting the same. So we do have some other questions I'm going to ask you guys, and I'll send the answers to people who asked them, just because I love to do that. And with that, I'm going to pass it back over to Gracie so that she can get us out of here. And thank you guys. And Gracie, it's all you.
Thank you, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Laura and Dwayne and Amanda Crawford, who was our videographer there. Shout out to you, Amanda. So thank you, Dwayne and Chad, so much for joining us. As you guys noticed, we just rolled straight through the breakout sessions because this is such an exciting project. So just know that future meetings, we have about 10 minutes together to kind of talk about these projects, but felt like it was really important to address a lot of the questions that you were providing. So thank you for being flexible on that. As you may know, the Downtown Council meets via Zoom the first and third Friday of every month. I think we pitched the special event, the walking tour, coming up next weekend pretty heavily. So hopefully you were able to join us for that. Information is in the chat. Also, we are starting an informal downtown fit club, which will be on the 4th Tuesday of every month. That would be on Tuesday, April 27th, starting at the Chamber Building and going on a run, walk, bike with any of your fellow Downtown Council fans, residents, or anyone that wants to join us. So there's information on our website, which is downtowncouncil.org. It'll be included in some emails coming out to you soon, but we hope to see you in person at a future events, but otherwise stay tuned for future meetings. And also don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. It's the Downtown Council on your podcast subscriber, and hit subscribe to stay tuned. All right, it's 9:15. We did it. Thank you so much again. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.